I'm Jim Forstner, the CEO of Emory Hillendale, Emory Decatur, and Emory Long-Term Acute Care Hospitals. I want to thank House of Hope and Pastor Sharice Cross for allowing us to bring this important health information to you through the Hope TV platform. As we continue to be challenged by COVID-19, it is incredibly comforting to know that ministries like House of Hope are supporting our community. I encourage you to keep your guard up by wearing masks, practicing hand hygiene, and avoiding large gatherings until such time as you and those around you are able to receive the vaccine. To learn more about the vaccine, I invite you to visit our website at www.emoryhealthcare.org/covid-vaccines-faq.html. You can also find that right off our emoryhealthcare.org homepage. On behalf of our physicians and all of our staff, I want to thank you for doing your part to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Hello, welcome to Hope TV. I'm Kawanda Green, and this is Surviving and Thriving in a Pandemic. Thank you so much for joining us. With a decrease in doctor and hospital visits, I often wonder how people are addressing their healthcare needs. Now that telehealth is a new thing, I wonder if patients feel a little disconnected from the doctor. And also, how can doctors be more connected with their patients, considering how things are going right now with coronavirus, the pandemic. Today, we have Dr. Itama Udison here to talk to us about these questions that we have. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's nice to meet you.
You as well. Okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't say your name right. Can you please tell me your name again?
You got it pretty close. Yes, Italma Udosin.
Okay, beautiful name and a beautiful woman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been practicing medicine?
Yeah, so I actually started, I finished my fellowship in 2016. And before I came into practice back here in Georgia, I started doing urgent care. I worked on a Indian reservation for some time. And then I decided, I just want to settle down and, do primary care. So that's why I did that. And I started practicing family medicine in early 2017. So yeah, about 4 years now.
How was it being on the reservation?
It was nice. It was really nice because you get to learn different ways of the Indian Native American culture. But at the same time, it was a little devastating to see because they have a hard, some of them had a hard life. A lot of them have uncontrolled diabetes. That's one of the biggest factors there. And alcohol substance abuse was another big thing. So it was just a matter of, yes, they get free health care, but you had to control those things and see how modern medicine correlates with their culture. So that was another thing that we had to work on as far as integrating that. But yeah, it was nice to do. It was a good experience.
Wow, I bet. How has your practice been affected by the pandemic?
So it definitely got hit hard because when the pandemic hit, everyone went into quarantine as we should have done. But then when we started to open up a little bit, patients were like, you know what, they were a bit apprehensive about coming back, which we completely understand. But at the same time, you have patients who have these uncontrolled chronic diseases. You have patients who needed medications. So we had to figure out a way to get the patient comfortable enough to come back or find a different route where we can get them their medications and get them the help that they needed. So in the beginning, it was a little difficult, but we made progress. Technology is great. We were able to connect with them through technology, or those who wanted to come in person or had to come in person, they were able to do so. But we made it a safe place for them. When they did want to come in person, we made, of course, because of the pandemic, we had everything in order. Patients were being screened before they walked in the door, as far as getting their temperature checks, us asking them questions concerning potential COVID symptoms. And then, of course, when they came in, we had everyone spaced out. We only allowed a certain amount of patients in the building at a certain amount of time. So there's no more than 5 patients in the waiting room at one specific time. So we made it, yes, it slowed things down, but we just wanted everyone to be comfortable. We wanted everyone, first of all, to be safe as they came into the office to get help.
Okay, and I mentioned telehealth in my introduction.
Mhm.
So what exactly
Yeah.
is telehealth?
So telehealth is a form of a visit where we are not in person. It's virtual. It's pretty much a virtual visit. So whether it's by telephone or whether it's by FaceTiming through applications like Zoom or Amwell, we were able to connect with the patients in a one-on-one private setting and see about their needs instead of them coming into the office.
Do you feel that people, especially your older patients, do you feel that they're very
Mhm.
receptive to that?
In the beginning, they were not because it's an application you had to download, and it could be cumbersome, especially if not used to doing that type of thing on your phone on a regular basis. So yeah, initially we had some hesitancy from the patients, but we do have staff here that walk them through the whole process. We taught them how to download it, where to find it, pretty much walk them through every step they need to do on the phone, and then we had them log in to have the visit. So we made it as comfortable as possible for those patients who were able to do that. But of course, there are some patients, regardless of technology, it's just that some patients weren't comfortable with that, and we were okay with that. So we made other avenues so we could make sure that they got the care that they needed. So yeah, it turned out it worked well in the end.
So when do you know that they should probably come in as opposed to, or when should they make an appointment to come in as opposed to doing a virtual visit?
So right. So that's a great question because like some patients have different tolerance levels as far as like any symptoms that they may have. But one thing I say for patients who have symptoms like chest pain or if they feel extremely short of breath, if they start to develop symptoms that I've never had before, like swelling of their ankles, you know, something that's extremely off for them, I say, hey, at least start with a visit with us. We'll have a nurse come on the line with you, ask you about your symptoms, and then from there, if you're not comfortable coming in, then we do a visit. If I find that during the visit, like the virtual visit, and that's what I'm referring to, if we find during the virtual visit that you need to be seen, then I'll definitely make that recommendation. But anything that is life threatening, definitely make an appointment, go to urgent care, go to the ER, but don't wait it out at home. Don't brush it off because your life is very important. So we want to make sure that you're taken care of. Yeah.
What things do you think patients need to be the yearly visits? Because I'm sure there are
Mhm.
patients who are, you know, avoiding going to the doctor or to the hospital because,
Right.
you know, of fear. But there are some visits that they absolutely need to, their yearly
Of
visits that they
course.
need to do. What would you say
Right.
to that?
So I would definitely say for yearly visits, annual visits is what we call them here. Definitely, I would recommend that you come in because there's a lot of things we cover, and it depends on your age range. So, for instance, like if we start from ages 18 to 29, 30 or so, we do screenings for blood pressure. We check for diabetes. We check for alcohol, substance abuse, depression, cholesterol. We looked at so many different electrolytes. We look at your urine. We also do EKGs. So yeah, definitely come in for that during those age range. And then we do that every year for everyone. Starting at the age of
Mhm.
40, that's when we start talking about the bigger things. Like for men, especially African American men, we want to start screening for prostate cancer. So that requires some blood work, sometimes a digital rectal exam, but it depends on the situation. Mostly just blood work. For women, we start with mammograms at the age of 40 to look for breast cancer or to screen for breast cancer. At the age of 45, it's now updated guidelines have recommended that we start screening both men and women for colon cancer at the age of 45. So that's definitely something we ask that the patients come in for. When it comes to those things, we usually, as a primary care physician, I refer you out to a gastroenterologist who's a GI doctor who does the colonoscopies on a regular basis, screening for colon cancer. So that's just a referral I would do on my end. Another thing we look for is outside breast cancer, outside prostate cancer, and outside of colon cancer. We also look for lung cancer, especially for those who are smokers, particularly those who are smokers. We start that screening at the age of 55 with a CT of the chest or a CAT scan of the chest is what some people are know it as. Another thing we do for women at the age of 65 is check for any bone density issues, looking for osteoporosis. But pretty much we check for on a yearly basis for everyone. We check for diabetes, we check for high cholesterol levels, and we check for electrolytes, make sure your kidneys and your liver, your thyroid, every organ in your body is okay, especially the heart. We do an EKG on those starting at the age of 40. Earlier, if there's an issue that we feel that needs to be addressed at that time. But definitely those are things that we recommend patients come in to be seen for versus like doing a televisit, because we can look at you, online and say, okay, you look fine, but we like to touch, we like to feel, we like to listen to the heart, listen to the lungs, and things of that nature. There's nothing that beats a hands-on physical exam. So yeah, definitely come in for those.
So what are some things that patients can do at home that they can, maybe some minor things that they can take care of themselves?
Oh, so there's several things patients can do, and even in the midst of the pandemic, food is medicine. I love telling my patients food is medicine. So making sure that your diet is well balanced. Eating like I tell my patients, your dinner and your lunch plate, half of it should be vegetables of your choosing. A quarter should be some type of complex starch. Complex starch meaning like a sweet potato, brown rice, brown or wheat pasta, wheat breads. Try to avoid the white simple sugars like the white breads, white pastas, white rice. And then the last quarter should be some type of lean protein. I lean towards poultry like chicken, turkey, also fish. Red meat, I tell my patients to eat that maybe once or twice a month if you're going to do that, only because it takes a little longer for your body to digest that. So those are the things when it comes to food. Drinking at least 60 ounces of water every day. You got to keep your body hydrated in order for your metabolism to work like it and function as it should. Staying hydrated also helps with your energy levels, helps you with your sleep. So I tell patients definitely food is medicine. Exercise is another thing. You gotta, whatever calories you put in, sometimes you gotta burn some of those calories off, especially if you wanna have your cheat days and, have your snacks that are not necessarily recommended, but we're human, it happens. So exercise, I tell patients, the CDC recommends you exercise 150 minutes a week. If you break that down, that comes out to be 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Running, jogging, cycling, elliptical trainer, or if you don't have access to any machines, you could do walking outside. There are YouTube videos that have a plethora of any exercise you can think of, whether it's yoga for beginners or high intensity interval training for those who are athletes. You have everything on YouTube that you can think of, or even walking with family members outside, walking your dog, doing yard work. Yard work actually counts as some form of exercise. So the biggest thing is keep your body moving when it comes to that. Another thing I tell my patients, a lot of this is overlooked when it comes to mental health. It is part of our health because sometimes when that mental health is not completely taken care of, it manifests itself into something physical in our bodies. So we got to make sure our mental health is taken care of, whether we vent, we talk our frustrations out to family members, loved ones. We make sure that you handle the stress in a proper manner instead of internalizing it, making sure that you voice your opinions, voice your concerns, address it in a healthy manner. That's one thing that I tell my patients. Or if you find that, some of us may have some type of psychiatric issue, whether it's depression, anxiety, bipolar disorders, those things exist and they do manifest themselves if they're not completely taken care of. So definitely that's another reason why you want to visit your doctor, because sometimes you may think, oh, this is just normal life. My mother went through it. My grandmother went through it. I go through it. It's not a big deal. Sometimes it is a big deal. And it's definitely overlooked in our society. So we definitely have to address that because it is very key in how we live our life. Sleeping is another thing. So yeah, 6 to 8 hours definitely recommended. One thing I always ask my patients, like, yes, you can get your 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but is it restful sleep? Do you wake up feeling refreshed or do you wake up feeling groggy? Do you have that daytime sleepiness around noon or 1 o'clock? Because if those answers are yes, then that could be a problem. That could be related to sleep apnea. And people say, okay, yeah, I snore. What's that going to harm? Well, it actually harms you because when you have sleep apnea, it puts strain on your heart and your lungs. And so now your body has to work overtime while you sleep in order to get that same amount of oxygen that it would do if you were not sleeping. When your body's overworking like that, or your heart and your lungs are overworking just to get that certain percentage of oxygen through your body at night, then you wake up tired. You wake up with that daytime sleepiness. And when that happens over a period of time for some people, It can cause heart issues. It can cause lung issues. So we definitely address that, get patients into sleep study procedures, and make sure that's taken care of. So yeah, those are the things I would tell patients to do as far as things they can do at home. Making sure that they're sleeping well, making sure that they're eating well, exercising, and having that social life, whether it's with a loved one, with a friend, with their kids, staying active, having that communication, because communication is part of who we are. We can't exist without each other. So we definitely have to keep that line of communication open. And of course it has to be healthy, Better said than done in some situations, but make sure it's healthy communication. So yeah. So that's the advice I would say you can do at home. Going back to the food, yes, food is medicine, but if you find that you can't get, your 5 fruits and vegetables every day, you can have that healthy meal. Another option would be getting that in the form of vitamins. Because yes, those vitamins usually come in food, but you can also take supplements. Vitamin D is very good. It helps with the bones. It helps with some of your GI tract. It also helps with your mood. I found that some patients of mine who have low vitamin D levels also have the feelings of depression. Not that they are depressed, but they feel a little moody. They feel a little down. So we got to boost up that vitamin D, get some sunlight if you can. Vitamin C is also good for the immune system. Vitamin B also as well. So those vitamins are key in getting the nutrients we need, as also how we feel. So I would add that to the mix as well.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
That was so much great information. I wanted to ask you if you had any words, for our viewers, during this time, but you just gave all of it. Do you have any, to leave on their mind that they need to take away with them, during this time?
Yeah, I would say, the past year, 2020, brought a lot. Like, it opened up so many things we didn't know existed, some things we did, but it just uncovered a lot. It was a year of clarity. It was a year of frustration. It was a year of happiness. So it's just a year of just mixed emotions. But just keep in mind that through this, we're in it together. We're here in the same boat. Some of us have different ways we can contribute to our well-being, but just know that it's going to get better. This is just a little fork in the road. It's just a matter of how, from now on, how do we approach each situation? Yes, this is not the best for us at the moment, but there's ways we can approach it. There's ways we can look at it. Just making sure our thinking is in line with what we feel, making sure that we have positive thoughts, because those thoughts will manifest themselves into action. So definitely keep the positivity up. We will get through this. It will get better. Technology, medicine is great because it's ever changing, ever evolving, and we're coming out with vaccinations now. So people will get better. We will definitely get through this. So just keep up that hope, keep up that positivity, and just take one day at a time.
Dr. Udusin, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you
You're
and
welcome.
all that you do. Thank you so much. And thank you. Yes, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
She has given so much information to us. And get out, get some sun, go for a walk, exercise, watch your diet. Have a great diet.
Right.
Introduce some more fruits and vegetables. But always remember, if you have health, you have hope. And if you have hope, you have everything. We'll see you next time. Don't lose hope.